Hi everyone, welcome back in our another React.js tutorial, and in this tutorial I am going to show you how to create a responsive navbar using React.js. And in my screen here you can see that we have a beautiful navbar, and inside our navbar in the left side we have our React logo and our React icon, and in the right side we have some nav links with some beautiful hover effect, and then here you can see that we have a sign up button. After this one, in the center of our screen we have a heading, and then we have a text difficulty level 1. In our previous tutorial we have created a navbar using basic React syntax. That's why it was difficulty level 0, but now today in this tutorial I am going to use some advanced React functionalities to create this responsive navbar. So that's why it is difficulty level 1. Now, as I said earlier, this is a responsive navbar. So what I will do, I will inspect the website, and from the setting I will choose a mobile phone device, and here you can see that in our small screen device our navbar is looking so beautiful. On the top here you can see that we have our React logo and icon, and in the right side we don't have our nav links, but instead of our nav links now we have a hamburger menu. If I click on this hamburger menu, here you can see that our nav links is sliding from the left side, and this time we have a beautiful background for our nav links, and this type of background also known as glassy background, and we will see how to create a beautiful background like this in this tutorial. And here you can see that now we have our nav links one by one in one column, and then we have a sign up button also. After this we have our hover effect as well. So this navbar is looking so beautiful in our small screen device. Now in a few moments I will show you how to create this beautiful navbar using React.js. But before we get started, if you guys are new in my channel, then please subscribe, like this video and press the bell icon for the future videos. And if you guys have any question about this video, please let me know in my comment section. That's it guys, let's get started. First of all, you have to open your favorite code editor, but for this project I'm not going to use any local code editor like VS Code. I'm going to use Code Sandbox, and if you guys don't know about Code Sandbox, then please do check out my previous tutorial. I have discussed about how to use Code Sandbox for your project, so please do check out that video, link will be given in the description. But if you want to use VS Code, then you can do that also. For installing React inside VS Code, first you have to create a new folder, and then inside that folder you have to open cmd, and then you have to write a command npx create react app and then your project name, and then type enter. Your React project will be installed inside your computer. Now if you want to use Code Sandbox, then please visit codesandbox.io. So this is the website, this is the URL, codesandbox.io. After visiting Code Sandbox, what you have to do is you have to open a free account, and after creating an account you will find a dashboard like this, and from here now we have to create a new sandbox. So that's why we have to click in this option, and as you can see that besides React we have so many pre-built templates. We can use all of this, but now for this tutorial I'm going to use React.js, so that's why click on this React, and in just a few seconds your React will be installed inside your browser. And here you can see that we have similar design like our VS Code. In the left side we have our these settings, and we have our project folder structure, and here we have our coding section, and here we have our preview. And inside our folders, here you can see that we have a public folder, we have a source folder, and inside the source folder we have app.js, index.js, style.css, and then package.json. And then here you can see that we have our these dependencies. If you want to install any other dependencies, you can install your dependencies from here. Suppose if I want to use React icon, so what I have to do is just search here React icon, and here you can see that you will find the React icon. So by just simply clicking on this you will install React icon inside your code editor. So this is so easy, guys. Now here you can see that in our coding screen we have our app.js, and here we have our h1 and our this text which is now showing inside our preview, and then we have our index.js and then our style.css. So now what we have to do is we have to set up our file and folders, and first we will go to our style.css and then go to the top, and here I will use a global styling, so a star, and here margin will be 0, then padding will be 0, then we have to add a box sizing, and the box sizing will be border box. Then I will use a font family, and the font family will be sans serif. That's it. Now in our global section I have already initialized our font family, so I don't need the font family here, so I will simply remove this one. That's it. Now close our style sheet. Now what we have to do, we have to create some components, because for creating our navbar we have to create different components, and we have to store all the components in one specific folder. So inside our source folder I will create another folder, and the folder name will be components, like this, and inside our components folder I will create our navbar file, so that's why it will be navbar.js. And then for styling our navbar I will create a style sheet, so that's why create another file, and it will be navbar styles.css. And earlier I have said that I will use React advanced functionalities to create this responsive navbar, so that's why we are going to create another file, and it will be menu data.js. Okay, now let's go to our navbar.js, and here we have to create a class component, and then we have to extend that component. So that's why let's add class, and our class name will be our file name. So you have to remember this, always the class name will be the file name, and our file name is navbar, and then we have to extend the class. So that's why we have to extend, and we will extend the class into an component, so that's why we have to use component. And here you can see that I have a auto suggestion, and if I click on this component on the top of our code, that component will be automatically imported. And if the auto import does not work with you, then you have to write this line manually. Okay, so after our component, then we have to add a curly braces, and then here we have to use render, add a curly braces, and then we have to return it. So inside our navbar, first of all I will create a nav tag, and then here I have to add a class name, and then the class name will be navbar items, and inside our navbar I will create a h1, and inside the h1 I will add our logo, and our logo name will be React. And if I go to our website, here you can see that after React we have an icon also. So this icon is from Font Awesome icon. So for using the Font Awesome icon inside our website, we have to add the CDN link of the Font Awesome icon inside our project. So for the CDN link, just go to the browser and here search for Font Awesome CDN, and then type enter. Then you have to open this first link, and from here I will select this one, and then I will copy the link tag, then go to our project, and if you open the public you will find the index.html. Simply open the index.html, and after our title I will simply paste the link tag. So guys, here you can see that we have our link tag. Now save this file and then close, and from now on we can use the Font Awesome icon inside our project. So after React we have to add an icon, and then we have to add a class name. So the class name of that React icon will be fab space fa-react. That's it. Now here you can see that in our screen we have this text, but I want to see our this text. So that's why what we have to do, we have to go to our app.js file, and from here we have to remove this h1 and h2, and inside our this div tag we have to import our this component. Okay, Navbar is just a component, and if you want to show your component inside your website, then you have to import that component into app.js file. Okay, so here we have to add the component and it will be Navbar. That's it. So you have to add the component like this, and here you can see that we have an error now and it is saying that Navbar is not defined. Okay, so after adding the Navbar component, you have to also import that component on the top of the code. Okay, so that's why let's write import, and the component name is Navbar from, and then here you have to add the address, and our Navbar file is actually inside our components folder, so that's why it will be ./components/Navbar. That's it. Okay, here you can see that in our preview screen we have an error, and in the bottom here you can see that if I zoom it for you, in our problems here you can see that we have a bunch of error here, and this error is actually happening because of one mistake. If I go to our navbar.js, now you have to remember one thing: if you create a component, then you have to always export that component. Okay, after exporting that component, then you can use that component inside app.js. So in our navbar.js I have created the component, but I have never exported the component. So for exporting the component, let's go to the bottom, and here you have to write export default and the component name, which is Navbar. That's it. Now here you can see that inside our problem section we do not have any problem, and in our screen, in our preview screen, here you can see that we have our React and our icon. So now we can see that we have successfully imported our Navbar component inside our app.js file. Okay, so after our h1, now we have to create another list, and inside this another list we have to create a list tag, and inside this list tag we have to create an anchor tag, and inside that anchor tag we have to add an icon. If I go to our website, here you can see that we have an icon. So for adding that icon, we have to add an icon tag, and inside that icon tag we have to add a class name. So the class name of that icon will be fa-solid space fa-house-user. And guys, here you can see that we have our house icon, and after our icon, now we have to add the nav link name, and it will be home. That's it. Now here you can see that we have our icon and our home text. After this one, if I go to our problem section, here you can see that we have another problem, and it is saying that we have to add a href inside the anchor tag. Okay, so every time we use anchor tag, we have to add the href also. So let's add a href, and here you have to add a valid URL. So for now I will use index.html. Now here you can see that we do not have any problems. And guys, here you can see that we will add our all the nav links like this one. So as I said earlier, we are going to use some React advanced function. So for using them, open our folder structure and then open our menu data.js, and here what I will do is I will store all of our nav links inside our this folder, inside our this file, and then I will export the files from our menu data.js inside our navbar.js. Okay, so first I will create a list for all of our nav links. So for creating a list, we have to create a function, and inside that function I will store all of our nav links. Okay, so that's why it will be export and then const, then the function name will be our file name and it is menu data. Then we will create an array, and inside this array I will list all of our nav links. So let's start listing our first nav link, which will be our home. So that's why. And here I will use a title, and our title name will be home. Then I will add a URL so that if anyone click on that home link, they will go to a different page. Okay, so that's why for every nav link we will have different URL. So I'm going to use a URL, and for now it will be hash. Then I want to add class name for that nav links, so that's why it will be cname, and the class name will be nav links. Then I will add different icons for different nav links, so that's why it will be icon. And here I will add the icon class name, which will be fa-solid a space fa-house-user. That's it. So this is our first URL, our first nav link. In our website, here you will find 3 more nav links, and we have a button also. So we have to create these nav links and this button. So that's why let's go to our code editor, and here I will simply copy this one, then add a comma and then paste it 3 more times, and it will be about, and the class name will be circle info, and this one will be service, and the class name will be fa-briefcase, and this one will be contact, and the class name will be address book. And guys, after each of these property we have to add a comma. So add a comma here and here and then here. So after our all the nav links, we have to create our this sign up button also. So for creating that button, simply copy this one and then paste it 1 more time, and the title will be sign up, and the URL will be hash. And for our sign up button, I don't want any icon, so I will remove the icon property, and then I will use a different class name for that button, and the class name will be navlinks-mobile. So guys, here you can see that we have created a list for our all the nav links. Okay, so after creating our list, now what we have to do, we have to export our all the nav links, this list inside our navbar.js. So for adding the list inside our navbar.js, first of all we have to import our menu data inside our navbar.js. So that's why let's go to the top, and here we have to write import. Then we have to add a curly braces, and it will be menu data from /menu data. That's it. Now we can use our menu data inside our this navbar. Now if you want to add more links, what we have to do is we have to simply copy this list tag and then paste it as much as we want, and here you can see that we have our all the nav links. Now what I will do is, instead of pasting all the nav links, I will use only one nav link. That's it. And inside this nav link I will push our this list, okay, our home, our about, and our service. Let me show you. So for adding the list inside our this list tag, we have to map this list, okay, we have to map the list, and then after mapping the list we have to import that list inside our list tag. So for adding the map functionality, go to our unordered list, and under our unordered list I will create a curly braces, and then I will take the menu data dot, then I will add the map function, and here we have to pass 2 values, one is item and another one is index. So this item is basically our this individual properties, and our index is the numbers, okay. So this is property number 0, this is property number 1, this is property number 2, and so on. So we have to pass 2 values, one is item and another one is index, okay. Now we have to create a arrow function, so that's why it will be equal greater than, then curly braces, and here we have to use return. And inside the return, what I have to do, I will simply take our this list tag and take that list tag and then add it here. Okay, and guys, here you can see that inside our return I have added our list tag, and as soon as I add the list tag, here you can see that we have multiple nav links here, but right now here you can see that all the nav links is the same. So now we have to change it. So for changing that, let's go to our list, and here for the list I will use key. Okay, key number. So here I will write key, and our key number will be our index number. After our index number, inside our list tag we have our anchor tag, and here you can see that inside our anchor tag we have some properties. One is URL, another one is icon, and another one is the nav link. And if I go to our menu data, here you can see that in every property we have title, we have URL, we have class name, and then we have icon. So what I will do is I will take these properties and then push these properties inside our this anchor tag. So let me show you how I will do it. For our href, here you can see that I have a URL, and if I go to our menu data, here you will find a URL as well. So what I will do is I will push our this data inside our this URL. So for doing that, just delete the previous URL, and inside the href we have to create a curly braces, and for adding the URL from our this property we have to map our this property. Okay, so for doing that we have to use item dot, then we have to add the property name which is URL. Okay, so copy the URL, the property name, and after dot we have to paste it here. Now href is completed. It means our href will take only that value which we will inside our this URL property. Okay, now let's go to our code, and for our anchor tag I will add a class name also. So let's add a class name, and I will add the class name which I have added here. Here you can see that we have a cname which is class name, and this is the class name. Okay, so I will simply copy this property and then I will add this property inside our class name. So for adding that property, first of all we have to take item dot and then paste that property which is cname. So guys, here you can see that we have taken our URL, we have taken our cname. Now we have to take the icon. Okay, so copy this property icon, and here you can see that inside our icon class name we have a class name for our icon. So I will simply remove the class name, and here I will add curly braces, and I will add item dot, and if I add dot, here you can see that now we have our all the suggestion, our cname, our icon, our title, and our URL. Now our this section, our this properties is showing as suggestion. So I will simply click on this icon. So after our icon, now we have one more thing left, which is our this text. So I will simply add a curly braces, and it will be item dot, and as soon as I add dot, here you can see that I have title. So I will simply click on this title, and that's it. Boom, here you can see that we have different text for our these nav links, and then we have also different icons for different nav links, and we are getting all these icons and all these nav links from inside our this list. Okay, so now we can say that our this data is going inside our Navbar. So this is called dynamic properties. It means we can now change our these values, and our that change will be affected inside our this nav link. Okay, suppose if I want to add another nav link after our contract, so I will simply copy this contract again and then paste it one more time. Here you can see that we have added another contract. Okay, now we can change anything inside our this list. We don't have to change anything from our this main list tag. Okay, we can change all of this inside our this here. Suppose if I want to change the text, and if I want to add a blog section, so I will add a blog. So here you can see that our text is now changed. And if I now want to change the class name, suppose I want to add a book, so I will remove the address from here, and here you can see that I have a book icon, and you can add a different URL for that link here. So you can add that URL inside this URL property. So the URL will be www.blog.com, and like this one you can add a different URL for all of these nav links. Okay, so this is the benefit of using dynamic properties. So that's it. Now we have added our these properties inside our navbar. Now let's go and style our this navbar. So for styling the navbar, open our source, and from here go to our navbar style.css. And here in our screen you can see that our this icon and our this nav links is now in one column, but I want them in one row. So that's why let's go to our navbar, and from here I will take this navbar items class name and then paste it here. And here I will use display flex, and after using display flex, here you can see that the styling is not working inside our preview section, because we have to import this navbar style.css file inside our navbar.js. Okay, so let's import that one on the top. Import /navbar styles.css. That's it. Here you can see that our React logo and our these nav links is now in one row. So now I want to add some space between them. So that's why justify content will be a space between. Then I will use align items center. Then I will add a font size, and the font size will be 1.2 rem. Then I want to add some padding, and the padding from top and bottom will be 0, but from left and right it will be 30 pixel. Now I want to add a background color, and the background color will be this one. Then I want to add a box shadow, and the X will be 0, Y will be 5 pixel, and the radius will be 15 pixel. Then I want to add a RGBA, and it will be 0.25. After this I want to add a width, and the width will be 95%. Then I will use a height, and height will be 80 pixel. Then I will add a border radius, and it will be 13 pixel. So after this one, now I want our this navbar to be floating on the screen. If I go to our website, here you can see that our this navbar is actually looking like floating on our screen. Okay, so we have some space on the top, from left, from bottom. So I want to create a navbar like this. Also this navbar is fixed, it is static. It means if I scroll down the website, our navbar will not hide, it will always show on the top. Okay, so let me show you what I am trying to say. And in our navbar items, what I will do, I will use position fixed. Then I will use a top, and the top will be 20 pixel. Then I will use a left, and the left will be 50%. Then I will add a transform and a translate, and it will be minus 50%. That's it. Now here you can see that our navbar is looking like floating on the screen, and this navbar is now static. Okay, so after our navbar, I want to style our this React icon. So that's why let's go to our navbar.js, and for our this logo I will add a class name here, and the class name will be logo. Now simply copy this logo class name and then paste it here. First of all I will add a color, and the color will be white. Then I will use a justify self, and it will be a start. Then I will use a cursor, and it will be pointer. So after this one, now I want to style our this React icon. So for styling the React icon, here you can see that we have a class name for our that icon. So I will simply take this class name FA React from here and then paste it here. First of all, I want to add some margin from the left side. So that's why margin left will be 0.2 rem. Then I will add a font size and it will be 1.6 rem. Okay, so after this one, here you can see that our all the nav links is now in one column, but I want them in one row. So for doing that, let's go to our navbar.js, and in our URL, I will add a class name, and the class name will be nav menu. So I will simply copy this nav menu class from here and then paste it here. And here I will use grid, so that's why display will be grid, then grid template columns, and it will be repeat 6 because we have 6 properties and I want each of them to take auto. Then I will use a grid gap and it will be 10 pixel. Then I don't want the bullet points, so that's why list as style will be none. Then align items will be center. Then text align will be center. Justify content will be end. So after this one, now I want to change the color of these nav links. So for changing the color of these nav links, if I go to our menu data, here you can see that we have added a class name for each of these, and the class name is nav links. So I will simply copy these nav links and go to our style sheet, then paste it here. First of all, I will remove the underline, so that's why text decoration will be none. Then I will add a color and the color will be white. Then I will add some padding, and padding from top and bottom will be 0.7 rem. From left and right it will be 1 rem. And guys, here you can see that our icon and our this home is not in one line, and they kind of breaks. So I don't want to break them, I want them to be always in one row. So that's why I will use white space and it will be no wrap. Now here you can see that our this icon and our this link is now in one row. Okay, after this one, now I want to start our these icons. So that's why simply copy these nav links and then paste it here. Then target our icon and I will use padding right and it will be 10 pixel. Now we have a space. After this one, I want to add the hover effect on our these nav links. So that's why simply copy these nav links again and then paste it here. Then add hover, and if I hover on our these nav links, I want to change the background color. So the background will be a RGB color and it will be 80, 80 to 38. Now if I hover, here you can see that we have a different background color. Okay, so now I will add a border radius and it will be 4 pixel. Then I will add a transition and it will be all 0.2 second is in out. Now save, and if I now hover, here you can see that we have our this beautiful hover effect. Okay, so after creating our navbar, now I want to make our this navbar responsive. In our responsive screen device, I want to hide our these nav links, and instead of showing in one row, I want to show them in one column. And in the navbar, I want to show a hamburger icon. So for adding the icons, our hamburger icon, let's go to our navbar, and after our h1, let's create a div tag, and the class name will be menu icons. And inside our div tag, I will create a icon tag. Then I will add a class name, and the class name of our icon will be FAS FA dash bars. And if I now increase our screen, Here you can see that we have our this menu icon. Now we have to style our this icon. So for styling the icon, let's go to our style sheet. And from here copy this bars class and then paste it here. And here I will add a color, and the color will be white. And here you can see that we have our this hamburger icon. But in our large screen, I don't want to show our this hamburger icon. I want to show this hamburger icon only in our small screen device. So for our large screen device, I want to hide it. But before hiding it, I want to make this hamburger menu working. It means if I click on this hamburger menu, then I want to show a close icon. So for adding the functionalities, let's go to our code. And here what we have to do, we have to add a state. So here instead of our this class name, I will add a curly braces. So for adding the state, we have to add this dot state dot clicked. We are using clicked function because if anyone click on that hamburger icon, then I want to change our state. So that's why I am using clicked. And here I am using if else. If our hamburger menu is clicked, then I want to show a cross icon or a times icon instead of that hamburger icon. So that's why we have to add the times icon class name, which is FA dash times. And again, if anyone type our this close icon, our cross icon, then I want to again change our state, and at that time our icon will be hamburger icon. So that's why we have to add the hamburger icon also, and the class name will be FA dash bars. That's it. So guys, we have initialized our if else. Here you can see that we have created a state, and if anyone click on our hamburger icon, then I want to show the close icon, and if anyone click on this close icon, then I want to show the bars icon. Okay, so after adding the state, now we have to define the state. So for defining it, let's go to the top of our class component, and here we have to add our state, and for now our state will be false. Okay, so that's why clicked will be false. So our state is now false. It means our this icon is not clicked. Now if anyone click on this icon, then I want to show our close icon, and if anyone click on that close icon, then I want to show our bar icon. Okay, so right now our state is false, and we will initialize our this state if anyone click on that icon. Okay, so for handling the icon, now we have to add a function. We have to create a function. So let's name the function, and the function name will be handle click. Then we have to create an arrow function, and we have to set the state. So that's why it will be set state, and this time we have to change the clicked value. So clicked, and the value will be not false. Okay, so not this dot state dot clicked. That's it. Now let me explain you what our this handle click is doing. Here you can see that our initial state is false. It means nobody clicks on that icon. So once if anyone click on that icon, then our this handle function will work. And what our this handle function will do? Our handle function will change the state value, and it will convert false into not false. Okay, so now we have to add this handle click inside our this menu icon. So inside our this div, we have to add on click, and it will be this dot handle click. So that's it guys. If I now increase the screen, and if I click on this hamburger icon, here you can see that right now we can see a icon, a close icon. Let me change the color of the icon so that you can see that clearly. So here with the FA bars, I will add a comma, and it will be FA times. That's it. Now if I increase the size, here you can see that we have a white close icon. Now if I click on this close icon, we have our hamburger icon. If I click on this hamburger icon, we have a close icon. So our this icon is working, And right now in our large screen, I don't want this icon, this hamburger icon, so I will hide this. So for hiding this, let's go to our navbar.js, and from here I will copy these menu icons and then paste it here, and it will be display none. That's it. Now here you can see that we do not have our hamburger menu and our close icon here. Okay, so after this one, now we have to make this Navbar responsive. So for doing that, let's go to our code, and here we have to initialize media, and the max width, and it will be 850 pixel. First of all, let's target our navbar items, and here I will add a z index, and it will be 99. That's it. After this one, let's target our nav menu, and right now here you can see that everyone is one row, but I want them in one column, so that's why I will use display flex, then flex direction will be column, justify content flex start. Then I will add a background color, so let's add the background color, and it will be a RGBA color, and it will be 255 255.25, and then I will add a box shadow, and x will be 0, y will be 8 pixel, the radius will be 32 pixel, and it will be 0, and I will add a RGBA, and it will be 31, 38, 135 and 0.37. Then I will add a backdrop filter, and it will be blur 4 pixel. Then I will add a border radius, and it will be 13 pixel, and then I will add a width, and our width will be 100%. Then I will add a height, and the height will be auto. And now we have to position this sidebar on the top of this navbar, so that's why we have to use position, and the position will be absolute. Then we have to add a top will be 0. Then we have to add a left, and the left will be 0%. Then align items will be stretched. Then I want to add some padding, so that's why let's add some padding, and the padding from top it will be 80 pixel, from left 0, from bottom 30 pixel, from right 0. Then I will add a margin, and the margin will be 0 pixel. After this one, let's target this nav links. So copy these nav links from here. Now let's target our nav links, and here I will use display block. Then the width will be 100%. Then I will use padding, and the padding from top and bottom will be 2 rem, from left and right it will be 0. Then I want to change the text color, so let's change the color, and it will be this one, and here you can see that we have our text color. Now if anyone hover on this navbar, I want to change the background color, so that's why copy these nav links and then paste it here, then add hover. So I want to change the background color, so the background color will be a RGBA color, and it will be 255 0.25. Then I will change the backdrop filter, and it will be blur 20 pixel. That's it. Now if I hover on this text, we cannot see the changes because we have a white background. So what I have to do is I have to change the background color. So for changing the background color, we have to create a new component. So let's go to our source, and inside our component we have to create a component, and it will be home.js. Then we have to create a style sheet for that, and it will be home styles.css. Now what we have to do is let's go to our home.js and let's create a function, and the function name will be home, and here it will be return. And right now inside our return I will add an empty fragment like this. Then also we have to export the function, and the function name will be home. That's it. Now for styling our home, we have to import the home style, so that's why let's add import dot slash, and we have to add the style file name, which is home styles dot css. That's it. Now inside our return we have to create a div tag, and here we have to add a class name, and the class name will be home. Now simply copy this home class name and then go to our home style and then paste it here. Now what I will do is I will add a gradient background color. If I go to our website, here you can see that we have a red gradient. So for creating the gradient I will use a online CSS gradient generator. So let's create a new tab and here search for CSS gradient generator, and from here open this first link, CSS gradient, and from here you can take any of the colors. Here you can see that they have some presets, so this is the preset. So I will now change the colors. Now from at the bottom here you can see that we have a code and we can copy this code. So after copying this code, let's go to our code editor, and here we have to paste the code. And here first we have to add a width, and the width will be 100%. Then we have to add a height, and the height will be 100 VH. Right now the background is not working. Let's go to our home, and here what we have to do is we have to wrap our this code inside a parenthesis. Okay, now here you can see that our this home is not working inside our this website because it is just a component. Now we have to import our this component inside our app.js. So after our navbar, here you can see that we have our first component, which is navbar. So after our navbar component we have to add our home component also. So let's add our home, and here you can see that I have a auto suggestion. So I will simply click on that, and here you can see that they automatically imported home. And if the auto import is not working for you, then you have to write this text manually. So now after our component we have to close the component. That's it. And our background is looking so beautiful, and our hover effect is also looking good. Okay, now let's close our this home and our this home styles, then our menu data. Now let's go to our navbar styles, and right now in our screen here you can see that we have our sidebar, but I don't want to show the sidebar always like this. I want to add a hamburger icon, and if anyone click on that icon, then only I want to show this sidebar. Okay, so for adding the icons we have to copy this icon class and then paste it here, and here it will be display block. But here you can see that we cannot see our React icon, our React logo, and our this controller, our this hamburger icon. So here we have to add a z index. So let's add a z index, and it will be -1. Now here we can see our icon, our logo, and our this close icon. If I click on this close icon, then I want to close our this sidebar. So for adding the functionalities, let's go to our navbar. So what we have to do is in our unordered list we have to add if else. It means we have to change the state. So that's why right now we have a class name. So what I will do is I will simply remove this class name, and here instead of the class name I will use a state. So that's why this dot state, then the state name will be clicked. If our hamburger icon is clicked, then I want to show our navbar. Okay, so here we have to add the class name of our navbar, which is nav dash menu. Then also I want to add another class name which is active, It means if anyone click on our hamburger icon, I want to active our this class, okay? And if anyone click on the close icon, then I want to remove the sidebar. So for that one we have to add a colon, and the class name will be nav menu. That's it. And guys, here you can see that right now our nav menu is activated. And now if I click on this close icon, then I want to activate our this icon. It means if anyone click on our close icon, I want to hide our sidebar. So first let's hide our sidebar. So for hiding the sidebar, let's go to our nav menu, and here you can see that we have a left value. If I want to hide our sidebar, so what I have to do is I have to add a minus value, and it will be minus 110%. Now here you can see that our navbar is successfully hidden, okay? Now if anyone click on our hamburger menu, then I want to show our sidebar. It means we have to active our sidebar. So for activating our sidebar, let's copy this nav menu class, then paste it here. Then I will add an active class, and inside our active class I will add a left value, and it will be 0%. Okay. Now let me see if our nav menu is working or not. If I click on this close icon, here you can see that our nav menu is hidden. It means our this menu is activated. Now if I click on this hamburger menu, right now our this menu is activated. Okay, so you have to understand these things. Now here you can see that the transition is not smooth, so I want a smooth transition. So for a smooth transition, I will add a transition here, and the transition will be all 0.3 second is in out. That's it. Now if I click on our hamburger menu, here you can see that our this sidebar is sliding from the left side, and it is sliding smoothly. If I now click on this close icon, and here you can see that our sidebar is hiding smoothly. Okay, so our this functionality is working, our hover effect is also working. Now we have to install our this button. If I increase our website, so this is our sign up button. Now we have to install our this button. So for installing the button, let's go to the top, and here we have to add the button class name. If I open our this menu data, here you can see that this is the button, and we have a class name which is navlink mobile. So I will simply copy this class name and then paste it here, and here I will add a padding, and padding from top and bottom will be 0.5 rem, from left and right 1 rem. Then I don't want to break the line, so that's why I will use white space, and it will be no wrap. Then I will add a background color, and it will be this one. Then I will add a border radius, and it will be 3 pixel. Then I don't want any underline, so that's why text decoration will be none. Then I will add a font size, and the font size will be 1.2 rem. Okay, let's make it 1.1 rem. Then I will change the text color, and the color will be this one. Okay, now let's decrease the font size again. It will be 1 rem. That's it. Then I will add a font weight, and it will be 500. That's it. So this is for our large screen device. So in our large screen device, our button is looking like this, but in our small screen device, I want to increase the size of this button. So that's why simply copy this nav links and the mobile, then paste it here, and here I will change the padding, and the padding from everywhere it will be 1.5 rem. Then display will be block, then text align will be center. Then I will add a font size, and the font size will be 1.3 rem. Then I will add a font weight, and it will be bold. Then I will add a width for our this button, and it will be 80%. And right now our button is in the left side, but I want to align it in the center, so that's why I will use margin, and the margin will be auto. That's it. Now here you can see that our button is now in the center, and guys, here you can see that our button is looking so beautiful. And also we have created our responsive navbar. Here you can see that if I increase the size in our large screen device, this navbar is looking like this, and in our small screen device our navbar is looking like this. Okay, and earlier I have said that this navbar will be static. It means it will always on the top. So for checking that, let's go to our home styles, and here if I increase the width by 200 VH, now here you can see that we have a slider, and if I now slide, here you can see that our navbar is on the top always. Okay, so our navbar is not hiding, it is on the top, and it is a static navbar, and our navbar is looking beautiful in our small screen device and in our large screen device as well. So that's it guys. Here you can see that we have successfully created our responsive navbar using React.js, and for creating this navbar we have used some advanced React functionalities. We have used dynamic properties, and we have also seen how to extend a class component, how to use a state, how to change the state, and all of this. And I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. And if you guys enjoyed this tutorial, then please subscribe, like this video, and press the bell icon for the future videos. And if you guys have any question about this video, please let me know in my comment section. That's it. See you guys in our another tutorial.